Do you think the phone will work with my cord? Oh, much better. Now I don't have to hold my phone. Oh. So much better. Not about to hold my phone that long.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Well, hello, DCO Nation. Welcome back to another DCO Live. Guys, I am super excited tonight. We have got, like I said on my Instagram post, one of the premier guides in South Carolina, Captain Stephen Flook. Stephen, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Great, man. Ready to be here, ready to rock and roll, talk fishing.
Yeah, nice, nice. I love it. I love it. We have got a ton of guys in the chat box already. You guys need to slow down a little bit so I can catch up here. Steve is on, Russell's on, Small Craft Angler, good to see you. Anthony Miller, Everett, Russell, guys, great to see you. Guys, here's what we're going to do tonight. So you guys know how it works. If you have questions for Captain Stephen, go ahead and put them in the chat box and I'm going to throw them out there. Basically, what we're going to talk about tonight is the February trends, what's going on right now, what he is seeing out on the water, because he is out there every day looking at the conditions and what the fish are doing. So guys, now is the time to pick this man's brain. He knows what he's doing. So the first thing, we talked about it, before we went live, but tell us a little bit about the Fishing for Fathers initiative that you started.
Yeah, so, like I was telling you earlier, last summer, there's a couple friends of ours in our family the kids, lost their father. So that just sparked me to take action and to do something about that. So I know for myself, my dad started taking me fishing when I was a little kid. So I just simply started initiative, a movement to where I'm just going to donate a charter to a youth that doesn't have a dad or a father figure in their life, so that kid can get out on the water, and so someone can take them fishing and get them going out there. Because at least for me, fishing has always been my fallback. It's nice to get out in nature, de-stress, and just have fun. So I know that when you're a kid, especially kids in traumatic situations like that, that could have a very positive impact on their life.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think all of us here watching and on the chat, our dads got us into fishing. Either my grandpa, my dad. I remember growing up on a lake, and they got me into fishing. And I think that's how everybody starts. It's just passed down from generation to generation. And for you to almost fill that gap with somebody who needs that father figure to get them out on the water is very commendable, and I think it's a fantastic. I just love it. I absolutely love it.
So yeah, we do. I donate at least one trip a month to the initiative. So like if any of y'all know somebody that does not have a father or a father figure, send them our way. You can shoot us an email, message us on Facebook. Very easy. There's no process to do it. Just reach out and send those people over to us. And I also want to challenge y'all. y'all can do this too. Anybody can do this, you know. So if there's someone that you're friends with or something, you know, take that kid out and take them fishing. You know, like I said, fishing is just awesome, and we want to get as many people fishing as we can. So, yeah.
Can you give us how they can contact you? Give us your
Yeah.
contact info.
So you can email me at unashamedadventures@gmail.com. Super simple. You can go to my website, fishingcharterschs.com. Facebook, Stephen Flook Jr. Um, Instagram, Captain Stephen Flook Jr. You can just Google my name. You can Google Unashamed Adventures and we'll pop up. So I am not hard to find. Yeah, you can just punch my name in on Google and you'll find me. So, um, and and you can contact me however you'd like via email, Facebook Messenger, um, whatever. I'll try and get back to you as fast as I can.
Okay. I am getting some messages saying that we are getting a pretty bad echo. I am trying to correct that on my end, and I am not exactly sure how I'm going to correct this at this point. Um,
We need to restart. You want me to restart mine?
doo, doo, doo. I can't hear the echo. Is that any better, guys? Okay. I tell you what, we are going to. I don't know why we have such a bad echo tonight.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, let's kind of keep rolling along and see if I can't kind of fix it here on my end. Okay. So tell me what you're seeing out on the water as far as your fishing goes. Are you seeing any bait? Are you seeing any finger mullet or shrimp or anything like that?
Yep. So, you know, we had that big freeze, what, 2 weeks ago, I guess now. But since then, I mean, shoot, the past week and a half, the fishing's been incredible. Just normal winter fishing. The water temperature it's been around 55 to 60 degrees, and there's been there's schools of mullet jumping on the flats. They're not everywhere, but it's definitely something that if you look for them, you'll find them. I'm not seeing any like big shrimp, but whenever I'm finding redfish and they're swimming along the flat, I'm definitely seeing, you know, the tiny little shrimp. So right now, we've been throwing the Z-Man salty Ned shrimp a lot. That has been the go-to.
Oh, okay.
Whenever we're seeing the shrimp jump. Um, but yeah, the fishing's been very good. We're catching fish. All of our fish today we caught anywhere from a foot to 4 feet of water, so pretty shallow.
Okay, good.
And like really happy fish, and they're all cooled up. I don't think we caught any fish, you know, single. So they've all been in a pack, a 6 pack or a 12 pack, or like a big wad of like 50 is kind of what we're seeing. So um, definitely you're going to want to cover water. If you're not catching fish, then, you know, if you're in a boat, put that trolling motor on and just grind down the bank and try and find them. If you're in a kayak, same thing, just paddle or pedal and move on and try and just cover water and find the fish, because if you're not catching them, that just means they're in a big pack somewhere. If you can find the pack, you know, it's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Have you seen where you're seeing them? Is it a consistent area that you're seeing them, or just trying to just find that pack, like along a grass line or on a flat, or?
I mean, the fish are in their normal winter places for
Okay.
me. So, if you dock fish, docks have been very productive. Rocks have been productive. Oyster beds, you know, shallow water oyster beds have been productive. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, the winter patterns for redfish. I know that where I have been seeing them is close to like drop off. So if there's like a deeper area next to like a flat, it's almost like they're, I don't know how to really explain it. Like on the colder days, they can slide into the deeper areas, but then on the warmer days, they're real close to the flat where they can get back up and feed. Does that make sense?
So, like, at least down here, like the intercoastal's been very productive because it sets up just like you explained.
Okay.
Because you got these little shallow areas where they can get up in the mud and sun. But like with these lower tides, tomorrow our low tides at 9:30. So all the mud is going to be exposed. That sun's going to hit it, so the water warms up super fast.
Okay.
So those fish are going to want to be up shallow right now, warming. And all the bait fish are going to be wanting up shallow. So like I've been targeting the back of creeks lately, the past couple days. And just because the water warms so much faster back there versus a big body of water like a main channel or a main river, that water temperature, because the water's so deep, it's going to take longer to warm up. So as shallow as you can get, for me, has been working very well this week. Just throwing artificials. We haven't thrown any live bait or cut bait or anything like that. Very simple. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the questions that I always ask guys who come on, since you already brought it up, what 3 baits do you always have on your boat? You never leave the dock without them. What are your 3 staples?
Right now on all of my rods that we've caught fish all week on, a 3-inch minnow Z from Z-Man, either Beer Run or Slam Shade. It's very similar color. So just a gold 3-inch paddle tail. And that's on a 1/4 ounce jig head, Texas side. And then chartreuse eye. I like the chartreuse color the best.
Okay.
And then I like the Z-Man TRD Goby, which is the little, it looks just like a mud minnow. Those have been absolutely destroying the redfish. I think we've caught most of our fish this week on that bait. I've burned up a couple packs of those.
So what do you have the goby rigged on? Like a mushroom head or another 1/4 ounce jig head?
I've got that one on the 1/6 ounce Texas side finesse.
Okay.
So it's the little one. It's a 1/0. It's a little 1/0 EWG hook. With the revolve, with the loose weight on the front, chartreuse side.
Okay.
I keep it very simple. That's about the only jig heads I use. Sometimes I'll lighten them up, but generally those 2 hooks get the job done. So I use the 3/0 regular Texas side 1/4 ounce, and then the 1/6 Texas side finesse. You just get 2 bulk packs of those and call it a day in the winter time. And then my third bait would be a TRD net, just a normal stick Z-Man, a little one like that. That is an absolute redfish killer. So those 3 baits, you can just give me those 3 baits and we're going to go catch them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that confident. So everyone has their favorite bait. So what I like to encourage people to do is, if you have that favorite artificial, throw it for a while because you have confidence in it. But then if it's not working, change up your profile. So if I'm throwing my big 3-inch paddle tail and I'm not catching fish, then throw a little tiny paddle tail. So don't change the colors. I would change the profile. Change what you're mimicking. And that normally works and will catch them if you're throwing around fish and those fish won't bite what you're throwing. Give them a different presentation or mimic something else.
Man, that is something that I live by. I have made several videos where I'm just going to say I'm at a creek mouth, and I just have this feeling that, listen, there's fish here, and I was throwing like a 4-inch paddle tail, and I was not getting hit. So before I leave, I'll switch it up to a shrimp and drag it on the bottom before I leave to give them that different look, because they may not be keyed in on, a little finger mullet or something. They may be keyed in on shrimp or a little marine worm. So yeah, that is absolutely a fantastic tip, man. Yeah.
Well, and you got to think, change your retrieve up. So like, if I'm throwing my 3-inch paddle tail, I might drag it on the bottom. I might slow roll it and just keep it right in the middle of the water column moving. Or I might work it quick and pause quick. Try different retrieves and then also change that profile and then worry about color. So color is normally the last thing I worry about. I'm worried about what am I mimicking with this artificial lure, and that will get the job done normally. So
yeah. So are you going more? Is your first thought size or just how you're going to present it?
I mean, today we caught a 14-pound red on the little tiny goby, that's like that big. So like. I don't know. I mean, the TRD go anything in the TRD lineup, the little bass baits in the winter, that is normally my primary go-to, just because they just always bite them. Every size fish will bite that, whether it's a overslot or a sloth fish or or little rat reds. That just does get the job done.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so let's stay with your baits and stuff. Let's work backwards. What kind of line and rod and reel are you using?
All right, simple. So I love 10-pound braid. If I'm red fishing, we're using 10-pound braid. And then I use anywhere from 15 to 20-pound fluorocarbon. And I use a longer piece of fluorocarbon than a lot of. I use anywhere from 5 to 8 feet of fluorocarbon leader.
Oh, okay.
I like a long leader. Just so the fish don't see the braid. And then also you don't have to worry about the braid getting weak by the knot, by the braid knot from your braid to leader.
Mm-hmm.
That won't wear out because when you're casting as much. Rod and reel. Right now we're using. I've got some Penn Slammer 2500s and some Penn Battle 3s 2500s.
Okay.
So 2500, and then I'm using a Fenwick HMG Bass medium light 7-foot.
Okay.
That's my favorite engine for Ned rigs. That's the best Ned rig rod because it's light enough to throw those one little tiny baits far. But I mean, we caught that 14-pounder on that today. Like, it's no big deal. You just got to know how to play the fish.
Right.
Making sure, when I say play the fish, like making sure that you're keeping your rod bent, your drag not too tight. You don't want a tight drag, you want a loose drag. And using your rod angle. So if the fish is swimming that way, I'm going to pull that way. That is a huge tip. And then you can whoop some really big fish with light tackle that way. That's what we've been using.
So relying on more of your rod to, I'm going to say, wear down the fish and your angles instead of the drag of the reel and possibly popping a knot or terminal tackle or something like that.
100%. Because now the only exception is if you're dock fishing. So if you're fishing heavy cover, if you're fishing docks or rocks or an oyster bar, and those fish are trying to get in there and break you off, obviously you're going to have to tighten your drag up a little bit. But I think most fish are lost due to the drag being too tight.
Yeah.
In general. So keeping a little bit looser drag, but the Texas side finesse jig heads that we use, that is a tiny little hook. It is very thin. It's super easy to set the hook with those. You almost don't have to set the hook at all. Like, the fish will literally just hook themselves because it's like a needle going into an apple.
Yeah.
But if your drag's too tight, you can bend those out if you're not careful. So just play the fish, take your time. Don't freak out when the big one's on there. Just enjoy it, play them. and eventually you'll get them in. So
Yeah, I was just looking over here at my board. I thought I had a pack of the 10th ounce finesse, but I must have put it in my box for the weekend. But I was going to pull one out. But yeah, I love those finesse Texas eyes. Those are awesome. Those are awesome.
they work so good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let's talk tides. You know, everybody wants to know about tides. You know, what is the best tide to fish and all that kind of stuff. So when you go out, obviously, when you have a paying customer or a charter, you really can't dictate the tide. It's kind of whatever you're dealt with that day. So, what is your favorite tide? When you see that tide, you're like, "Oh man, it's going to be on today." What is that?
Right now, I mean, this morning and tomorrow and Saturday, and where we have a falling tide till like 10 o'clock in the morning, or till 11. I just love those tides, just because. So yeah, so a falling, a mid falling tide, um, is my favorite. Like later, mid to late morning is very productive, especially in the winter. Like I said earlier in the video, if you're just joining, when the tide is low, later on in the, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, that sun hits all the exposed mud or rock or oyster bed, whatever's, when that tide's low, whatever's on the banks, the sun's hitting and warming up. So, excuse me, when that water rises, that water's going to warm up super fast. So the falling water and the first of the rising tide. So I don't really have a favorite tide. This week is a great example of that. We've had both tides, and we've caught fish throughout the tide on every day this week that we fished every day this week, and haven't had a problem with any tide. Just changing your location. So like if you have a falling tide, that's when I like to push back into a creek pretty far, where you're getting that feeling in your stomach. You might get stuck.
Yeah.
You're laughing because you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've had to pull my pedal drive more than once to get out. Oh, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. You're like, man, do I really want to get in this water? But no, so that is when I prefer, even though it's a little sketchy. You got to push back there because those fish are just going to be happy. Normally, they're going to be happy when they're back in a creek. Tiny creeks, guys, as far back as you can go. The kayakers have a massive advantage over the guys in a boat when we're talking about this, because you have way less draft. You can float shallow. Your boat the kayak, your canoe is so easy to move. And you can sneak through little oyster passages and sneak around and stuff like that. If you're in a boat, you could consider beaching your boat and standing on an oyster bar to fish. But anyway, so, and then on a rising tide, you want find somewhere that is a natural backstop. So grass lines on a rising tide sometimes are hard to fish, and you're only going to have a little 15 to 30-minute window fishing a grass line, because right when that water starts to get in the grass, those fish are gone. And unless you have a flood tide in the summer, you're not going to find those fish. So find somewhere like a shell bank, like those big shell mounds that are 7 feet tall. Those are awesome for a rising tide, because the redfish are going to be vertically up and down on the shell bank and not move, back that way. So, or some rocks, docks and seawalls are good because the fish will just go up and down and not, farther in or out. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Absolutely, absolutely, it does. And matter of fact, shout out to Captain Bob. Captain Bob is on tonight. Hope you're doing well, buddy. But he has a question. He says, "Does Cap look at the majors and minors as well? So, are you looking at the majors and minors?
If I'm having a hard day, I will.
Okay.
So normally on a new moon or a full moon is when I'll take a peek at those. Definitely, because For me, I noticed those play the biggest effect on a new or a full moon. So if I'm fishing on the day of a full moon, historically, you'll hear a lot of people saying that can be tough. I've had some incredible days on a full moon, but it's during the major period. So what we're talking about, guys, is when the sun and moon are opposite, or the moon is directly overhead, underfoot, or rising or setting. Okay, so you can go to solunarforecast.com and type in your zip code, and um, it'll pull up the day in your area and show you. It'll say you got a major period, and they're 2 hour blocks, and then the minor periods are 1 hour blocks. So pull those up. That is especially if you can get a major solar period that lines up with the last 2 hours of the outgoing tide. That is like deadly, deadly. I've never had a bad day when that happens. So that said, make sure that you are in a good fishing spot when that all comes together. If you're like paddling around or running, making a 30-minute run, while that's happening, you're wasting, high chance probability time to fish.
Okay.
Hopefully that'll answer that question.
Yeah. I think it does. Definitely does. So,
And especially big trout, coming up here in about April. The first full moon of April and the first new moon of April, pretty much guarantee I'm going to go out and catch a 20-inch trout or bigger. So keep an eye on those periods, the solar periods, and all that, especially for speckled trout.
okay. All right. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I know it gets a little bit confusing with guys, asking about major and minor and trying to get that figured out. But, SCDNR has their app. And if you go on their app, and I believe it's under their digital backpack, and I'm going to pull it up here right now, but it has a thing that says feeding times. And it will actually show you the time of the major and minor. So you won't have to figure out, where the moon is and all that kind of stuff. It'll tell you, 6 to 8 a.m., second major. So yeah, it's easy to get to and to find that information if you don't really understand majors and minors. But they do have an effect on the fish. And there was a guy that I was listening to on the radio a couple of weeks ago who said, even if we're running to another spot and he knows he's getting into the major time of the day, he'll just stop and just start fishing because he doesn't want to miss that time frame. He just kind of pulls over. He's like, okay, here we go. We're just going to go. So, yeah.
But, one word of advice, or not advice, encouragement. Don't base your trip. I would not base your trip off of that. I've had plenty of good days on new moons, full moons. Like, if you got a day to go fish, just go fish. Like, those are details, and they're important, especially if you're targeting specialty stuff like bull reds, or like massive, big speckled trout, like release over 20 trout. But man, you can still catch a fish. You just gotta keep your bait in the water and keep going down the bank, and eventually you're gonna catch them.
Yeah. So guys, we got just about 5 more minutes left. You guys know I like to try to keep this to about a half hour. Again, I apologize for the audio tonight. I am not exactly sure what is going on, but I'm going to dive into this and see what is happening. But if you guys have any questions, throw them up into the chat box before we take off. So, Captain Stephen, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you. I am going to link all of his information in the description. So, if you guys want to jump on again, but go ahead and give us all of your information and how these guys can get a hold of you.
Yep. So you can shoot me an email at unashamedadventures@gmail.com. My phone number is 864-430-8830. Website is fishingcharterschs.com. Instagram, Facebook is my name, Stephen Flook Jr. Or Unashamed Adventures. Or you can just punch my name in or business on Google and it'll pop up. So super easy to get a hold of. Shoot me a message on Facebook, Instagram. Um, I don't use TikTok, so but any of those options are we'll touch base and talk to you. So
Yeah, guys, reach out to him. He is going to put you on fish. And I tell you what, he is one of the hottest guides down here. He was featured on a show called The Captain's Log with Jonathan Moss. And when did that episode air? I watched it, but I want to say that was maybe a couple months ago.
Last August, I think.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? It's been that long? Holy cow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, it's on YouTube. Go to Captain's Vlog TV, or yeah, it should be on there, I think.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So what was it like, being around a camera crew and doing all of that?
Man, I mean, I've wanted to do this my entire life since I was 4. I've wanted to fish professionally, so just dream come true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've practiced for this for a long time. Like in college, I fished out of a canoe 4 or 5 days a week after classes and after work because I worked part-time through college. And I fished in a canoe for like 5 years. So like every time I go in a canoe, I'd pretend I was on a fishing show or something, or pretend I was guiding somebody and making sure I was catching fish, and so like I don't know. I put a lot of time in, I guess.
I did have a question that just popped up. Russell Decker just popped up, and Russell actually manufactures small baits. And let me grab one here real quick. He sent me a pack. It's called Stink Baits, and they almost look like the little TRDs, which I'm going to give them a try this weekend. But Russell asked, basically, where do you position yourself when you're fishing a drop-off? So are you like on the shallow end fishing the deep end, or are you on the deep end fishing, where do you actually position yourself?
I like to be deep fishing, casting up to the bait, bringing it down. But, so, let me think. So, there's a couple different ways. So, if the tide, I like to have my bow facing into the tide. With, I use spot lock on my trolling motor. You can use an anchor. And then I want to cast kind of up and across. So, like at a 45-degree angle. So, I'll cast up and across the current. And then I'll be bringing my bait out to deeper water and with the tide, if that makes sense.
Yes.
That is how I normally fish. I have stuck the back of the boat, like in the grass, and then fished out deep. But normally I don't have a lot of success doing that.
Okay.
Personally, I just don't do that very often.
Just trying to make that bait look as natural as possible, flushing out of a creek or something like that.
Yep. Okay. But normally, I'm always casting up current, bringing it down current. That is my normal presentation, and I'll set my boat up that way as much as I can. Now, there's some instances, if it's super windy and wavy, if the tide's coming in, and if the wind and the waves are all coming together, sometimes I'll position my boat up current, cast down current to structure, and then slowly work it against the current.
Okay.
That can be effective sometimes, especially if you're drifting an artificial lure. So sometimes I'll cast my artificial in there, and let the wind and the waves and stuff just drift my lure back, almost free line. And I'll catch fish doing that. But that's a little technical. A lot of people have a hard time with that. So, but depending on your skill level, that can be a great way to fish.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, guys, we went just a little bit over, but again, Captain Stephen, I really appreciate you jumping on, full of knowledge, and guys, I'm telling you, he's the man. Get up with him. Come down. You fish out of McClellanville, correct?
Yes, correct. Yep.
Okay. All right.
So anywhere from Allendale up to Georgetown, we've done well in some tournaments down in Buford too. But so I'll go fish anywhere. But yeah, I normally fish in McClellanville.
Okay.
That's where I fish like every single day. So
yeah, fantastic.
I run around a lot too. If I have a full tank of gas in the boat, I'm angry.
You're gonna come back empty. Yeah, I definitely hear you, man. I hear you. So yeah, everybody's giving me thumbs up and thank you. So again, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for jumping on. I will see you guys next week, and I'm working on a couple more guests, and hopefully we can kind of keep it going. I'm working on Captain Tanya Dowdy. She was in Louisiana. She reached out to me. She was actually going to be on 2 weeks ago, but she said, I'm in Louisiana fishing. And I was like, well, I said, can I come with you? So, but, hopefully I can get her on and, kind of get a rotation with all you guys and with Captain Steven, maybe late spring, early summer, maybe have you back on again and talk, summer redfish patterns. So,
yeah, man.
So again, really appreciate you. Thanks, guys, and we will see you next week.